30% increase that Mr. Hunt brought in for corporation tax, stifling reinvestment. Just think of this government saying their annual returns now must be quarterly returns with added bureaucracy and added costs. Yet the completely forgotten part of the British economy are the 5.6 million men and women that run small businesses, act as directors, or organise their lives as sole traders. They feel unwanted in almost every single way, and yet they're really important. 60% of employment in the private sector is provided by those 5.6 million small companies. They've been hammered by national insurance rules over the course of the last year, especially those working in hospitality and sectors such as that. And they are embattled by IR35 regulations designed by the Treasury and weak Conservative chancellors who assume that everyone out there who isn't working for a big firm is some kind of crook. Well, I'm sorry, but the IR35 rules are ridiculous. They're stifling innovation. They even drive some in their 50s just to throw their hands up and go into early retirement. We will be the party of small business. We will be the party of risk takers. And look, there is a fundamental, I think, misunderstanding in many, many ways about what business really is. It's as if, well, you're either for business in politics or you're for the worker in politics. It is a fundamental misunderstanding, frankly, at every level. Thriving businesses are good for their employees. And something that I don't think anybody on the front benches will even understand is that small businesses very often treat their employees as well as they would treat their own family. You know, I went through times of having to pay monthly payroll when the staff were earning a lot more than I was. But I wouldn't for a minute want to jettison any single one of them, but hold tight and wait for better times. And we are on the side of working people. We are the party of Alarm Clock Britain. And we want people who are out there working to be genuinely better off working than they are on a whole range of benefits. And it's perhaps on benefits as much as anything else that I was keen to do this speech today. There seem to have been several misunderstandings as to where reform stands on benefits, as if we are the party that will throw around the money like confetti, based, I think, around my comments on the two-child cap and moving it. Now, no one actually listened to what I said. I mean, this happens, I know. But what I said was, we should remove the two-child cap for British working couples. And what I meant by that is for lower paid couples who are both working, the cost of childcare is exorbitant. It's a disincentive for having more children, a disincentive for going out to work. And so I thought a tax credit for a couple where both were working was actually a very, very pro-family policy in every single way. We have already announced cuts to welfare spending, but no one seems to have noticed. So let me use this opportunity to reiterate where we are this morning. My colleague Lee Anderson and Zia Youssef in a press conference earlier on this week dealing specifically with PIP claims, saying that we would take away claims from people who were on PIP for non-major anxiety. That policy alone, given the daily, weekly, monthly rate of new sign-ons, that policy alone would save us $9 billion a year by 2029 under current predictions. And in fact, all disability claims will have to be dealt with in person. All disability claims will have to be reassessed. There'll be no more Zoom, 5 or 10 minutes on a Zoom, and be signed off with some sort of malady. And there'll be no more family GP feeling pressured into signing people off. It'll all be done by independent third party. And you don't think this matters? Well, just think about this. There has been a 50% increase in disability claims in Britain over the course of the last 5 years. We are over-diagnosing many of these things, and in doing so, throwing young British people onto a scrap heap marked victim and replacing what they could be doing by cheap imported foreign labour. It is madness, and I would further point to the Boris wave. Indefinite leave to remain that begins to kick in very, very shortly for 1 million or more people who are in this country who will be able to claim benefits for the whole of their lives and to bring in dependents as well. There are some think tanks that estimate this particular cohort could cost up to £200 billion over the course of their lifetime. So in terms of benefit cuts, I think we've just proposed the biggest benefit cuts you've probably ever heard any government do, and I will make this absolute promise. We will substantially cut the benefits bill. We will reduce the size of the public sector. We will look, as we've already started, at public sector pensions, which are a massive liability, and from the early work that Richard has done, we can see these funds are paying fees that are way out of line for what should be appropriate and being badly mismanaged. On the cost of living, we will cut people's energy bills. Now, Keir Starmer said he cut them by £300. They're up £285. And if Mr Miliband's wind plan comes in, we'll have locked in higher energy for decades to come. We reckon sensibly we could cut £165 per annum off everybody's electricity bill.